जयपुर लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल में कांग्रेस नेता मणिशंकर ने मणिशंकर अय्यर ने पाकिस्तान संग बातचीत की वकालत की है और सरकार से कहा है कि अगर हम सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक कर सकते हैं तो फिर टेबल पर बातचीत क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं। मणिशंकर अय्यर ने आगे कहा कि सरकार की पाकिस्तान से बात करने की हिम्मत नहीं। मणिशंकर अय्यर अपनी किताब राजीव आई नो पर बात करने जयपुर लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल में पहुंचे थे। मणिशंकर अय्यर ने आगे कहा कि मेरे हिसाब से राजीव गांधी की हत्या देश के लिए सबसे बड़ी त्रासदी है। अगर आज वह जिंदा होते, चाहे विपक्ष या फिर सरकार में, तो आज देश की यह हालत नहीं होती। उन्होंने कहा राजीव गांधी जैसा नेता आज तक कोई नहीं हुआ, लेकिन शाहबानो और बोफोर्स केस में उनकी इमेज खराब करने की कोशिश की गई। सीबीआई की 16 साल की जांच में बोफोर्स में कुछ नहीं निकला। इसके साथ साथ मणिशंकर अय्यर ने एक बयान ऐसा दिया जो सुर्खियों में बना है। उन्होंने कहा कि सोनिया गांधी नहीं चाहती थी कि मैं राजनीतिक जीवन में रहूं। इस बयान की चर्चा जयपुर से निकलकर पूरे देश में हो रही है।
And asking whether he could have a copy of his birth certificate. And although the publisher cut out that line, the Delhi municipal authorities produced a birth certificate for him about 4 or 5 months later, and I'm not absolutely sure that it was genuine. So when I went to Lahore as a minister at the head of a ministerial delegation, dealing with local government, and the mayor of Lahore started boasting about how they had digitalized all their records. I asked whether they had digitalized their records for 1941. He said yes. I said, have you digitalized it for April 1941? He looked a little puzzled but said, I'm sure we have. So I said, what about the 10th of April 1941? Yeah. And he said, I have to look. So I said, well, I'm asked, why are you interested? So I said, because that's my date of birth and I was born in the city. And next morning, this was at 6:30 in the evening. And next morning when I came down to the meeting at about 9 in the morning, there was an envelope which contained my birth certificate. They produced it overnight compared to Delhi taking months to give the birth certificate to Pervez Musharraf. So then I looked at it and I found that it said I was born on the 9th of April. And my mother had been very particular, and I couldn't see why, to repeatedly tell me, that I was born at 24 minutes past 12. So that made me not the 9th of April, but the 10th of April. But because she'd been admitted into the hospital on the 9th, the date remained the 9th on the birth certificate, but my real date of birth is the 10th. But I think that's confused not only my astrologers, but also those who guide my destiny. It probably accounts for the numerous ups and downs in my life, while they can't make up their minds that I was born in the 9th of the 10th.
But one minute, I want you to...
And I was there from 1964 onwards. So in 1968, we were to celebrate the beginning of the birth centenary of Mahatma Gandhi. So my ambassador, I'd finished 3 years in 67, so my ambassador wrote to the foreign secretary asking whether I could stay on for another year. I had, in connection with these celebrations, I had booked the staff car. I got into it and somebody rushed up to me and said I should go up to see the ambassador. And the ambassador waved before me a letter from the foreign secretary saying they had considered his request and decided to turn it down, and I had to return to Delhi immediately. So as the car was about to leave, one of my assistants, F.V. Tuli, jumped into the car and asked, and I said to him, I've just been transferred. So he checked the mileage, he then checked the number of the car, he then checked the time, and then he made a magisterial pronouncement that I would not be leaving Brussels till the 16th of October the following year. And I said, this is ridiculous. The foreign secretary has just written that I have to go back immediately. But by the time we came back, there was another message from the foreign secretary saying that they had agreed to the ambassador's suggestion that I should wait till Wednesday, the 2nd of October, 1968, to kick off the Mahatma Gandhi birth centenary celebration. So I couldn't, of course, the Air India flight, which we had to take, came to Brussels once a week on Wednesdays, which is why that Wednesday of 2nd October was important. Obviously, I could not leave on that same day, so I planned to leave on Wednesday the 9th. But the flight on Wednesday the 9th got cancelled, and I ended up actually leaving Brussels on Wednesday the 16th of October, exactly as predicted by this numerologist who was an assistant in the Foreign Service. Later, when Indira Gandhi was assassinated, a number of astrologers and so forth were asked whether they had predicted her death. And M.B. Tuli, who by then had retired and set himself up as a professional numerologist, turned out to be the one who had predicted it most accurately. So that has shaken my firm belief in atheism and my firm opposition to astrology. Maybe there's something in it.
Yeah. So